the Kurals, Kumud, Ravi and Lalita's 2024 Navarathri Golu celebrations, the celebration of the divine feminine and a fantastic way to bring together a community through art and culture. The theme for this year's Golu is Thirukalyanathil Thiruvilayadal, or Divine Games in Divine Weddings. As per our Puranas, divine weddings have a spiritual significance, the union of Purusha and Prakriti, nature and spirit, or the union of Jivatma with the Paramatma, and a north star for how we need to lead our married lives. We continue the tradition of keeping our traditional 5-step Golu, displaying the figurines of the various Devis and Devatas, such as Lalita Tripura Sundari, Durga Lakshmi Saraswati, the Dasavataram, the various forms of Vishnu, Ashtalakshmi, Shiva Kutumbam, our rishis and the gurus, each one of them representing the victory of good over evil, the importance of knowledge and wisdom, and the celebration of diversity and interconnectedness. This year too, we've collaborated with Suchitra Balasubramaniam, famous musician and Harikatha artist, for the music vocals, and Sri Ram for the AV. Dhanyavadagalu to my Guruji Sri M.S. Srinivasan of the Chalakire brothers fame for the Vedic chanting. Let's move on to the theme of the Thirukalyanam scenes. The first set of dolls depict the scene of the Swayamvaram that lead to the Sita Kalyanam.
Pavanaja stuti patra pavana charitra Ravi Soma Varanetra Ramaniya Gatra Sita Kalyana Vaibhogame.
That was the festive composition of Tyagaraja sung during our Unjal ceremonies till date. The story of Sita Kalyanam from the Ramayana is about the marriage of Sita and Rama. Rama and Lakshmana are taken from Ayodhya by Rishi Vishwamitra to protect the Rishi's Vedic ceremony, albeit the great Brahma Rishi could have been able to defend it all by himself. The tatparyam behind using Rama's help was perhaps twofold. One, for Rama to be able to wed Sita, and two, for Ahalya's Shapa Vimochanam. Just imagine this. The whole Rama avatara would only begin when the Tayar enters the story. Sita's father, Janaka, in Mithila announces a Swayamvaram, or a contest that any person who could wield Shiva's bow would marry her. Rama is taken to Mithila for the Swayamvaram by Vishwamitra. As Rama enters Mithila, he casts a glance of Sita and wonders, Yaro ivar yaro.
Karulavum sirulavum nithilaye Karulavum sirulavum nithilaye Kanni madam tanir unne.
That was Arunachala Kavi's composition in the Bhairavi Raga. Upon reaching the venue, Rama takes his guru Vishwamitra's consent and wields the bow. Dasharatha, Rama's father, and the rest of the family arrive from Ayodhya to attend the wedding. The Kanyadanam ceremony happens and Janaka says, "Take her and not I give her to you," with the verses, and these verses are recited even today.
Om Iyam Sita Mama Suta Saha Dharmacharitava Pratichachainam Bhadraante Paning Grinhishva Panina. Om.
Let's relish this celestial wedding with a song, Kalyanamuchuta Murarandi.
Kalyanamuchuta Murarandi Shri Sita Ramula Kalyanamuchuta Murarandi Siri Kalyanapu Bottunu Petti Mani Basika Munu Nudutanu Katti.
We next move on to the scene of Rukmini Kalyanam from the Bhagavata Puranam, in which Krishna weds Rukmini. Bhamara Potana, who translated Vyasa's Bhagavatam from Sanskrit to Telugu, and the NTR movie Sri Krishna Pandaviyam have immortalized the story. Bhishmaka, the king of Vidarbha, was blessed with Rukmini, a daughter, after having several sons. As Rukmini grows up, she yearns to marry Krishna, having heard stories of his beauty, valor, and great qualities. While her father is all supportive, Rukmi, her brother, wanted that she marry the evil Shishupala, Krishna's cousin. With the marriage to Shishupala being scheduled, Rukmini sends a sandesham in a lekha or a letter through a messenger to Krishna asking that he come, take her away, and wed her. Let's take a listen to the sandesham from Bhagavata Purana, Shrutva Gunanan Bhuvana Sundara.
श्रुत्वा गुणान् भुवनसुन्दर शृण्वतां ते निर्विश्य कर्णविवरैः हरतो अङ्गतापं रूपं दृशां दृशिमत्.
Krishna confirms and consents to the marriage. Keeping with the tradition, on the wedding day, Rukmini goes to the temple to perform the Gauri Puja. As Rukmini steps out of the temple, Krishna, who reaches the temple on a chariot, pulls her in and takes her away. This Apaharanam was ably supported by Krishna's brother Balarama and his army. Rukmi, Shishupala, Jarasandha, and their army try and chase the couple, but they fail in their pursuit. Consequently, Rukmini weds Sri Krishna in an official ceremony in Dwaraka. Let's listen to Aloke Rukmini Kalyana Gopalam.
नीलमेघनिभाकारं पालार्कसमानचलं नीलमेघनिभाकारं पालार्कसमानचलं नीलाभरानुजं गोपपालकं नीलाकान्तम्.
Moving on, we see the scene of Meenakshi Kalyanam. A version of the Meenakshi Kalyanam is featured in the Thiruvilayadal Puranam. Legend has it that Malayadwaja Pandyan, a Pandya Raja, while performing a great yajna to secure a son as an heir, is astonished to see a little three-breasted girl leap out of the sacrificial fire. The Akashavani proclaims her to be an incarnation of Shakti and that she would marry Lord Shiva at the appropriate time. As Meenakshi grows up, she is well trained in warfare and ascends the throne upon Pandya Raja's death. With her skills, the Jagat Janani leads a great army of women bearing bows, spears, and swords to conquer all the worlds. Having conquered the earth, she sets her sight on the Kailasha, home of Lord Shiva. Battlefield, she faces of Lord Shiva. At that moment, the third breast falls off, signifying that she has met her match. She falls in love with Shiva and requests that he marry her. Shiva consents and asks that she return to Madurai and wait for him. Shiva comes to Madurai in 8 days in the resplendent form of Sundareshwarar and marries the beautiful Meenakshi in a magnificent ceremony called the Tirukalyanam. Vishnu, her brother, agrees to preside over this wedding and performs the Kanyadanam in her father's place. The Chitra Tiruvizha, to commemorate the divine wedding, is held every year in April, even to this day in Madurai. Take a listen to Ghanam Krishna Iyer's Jagat Janani.
सुखस्वरूपिणी मधुरवाणी सुखस्वरूपिणी मधुरवाणी चोक्कनादर मनोमगळु मीनाक्षी चोक्कनादर मनो.
Jagat Janani was made iconic by Dandapani Deshikar's rendition, an all-time favorite of my mother in Ratipati Priya Ragam, glorifying Goddess Meenakshi. In Dikshitar's majestic and master composition, Meenakshi Mudam Dehi, the Devi Upasaka that he is, he demands, Goddess Meenakshi, give me bliss. Dikshitar chose to give up his mortal remains during the rendition of the song by his pupils. Let us take a listen to this masterpiece.
मीनलोचनी पाशमोचनी मालिनी कदम्बवनवासिनी मीना.
Meenakshi Kalyanam symbolizes the transforming nature of intelligence represented by Lord Vishnu into awareness represented by Meenakshi and merging with the truth or supreme consciousness represented by Shiva. Moving on to the next scene, the story of Srinivasa Kalyana appears in 12 Puranas and spans the three yugas, Treta, Dwapara Yuga, and the Kali Yuga. In Treta Yuga, Lord Rama promised Vedavati, Sri Lakshmi's avataram, who appears as Sita during the abduction and at the time of the Agni Pariksha, to wed her in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, Vedavati as Padmavati was found in a lotus and adopted by Akasha Raja, a Chola king, as his child. Separately, in Dwapara Yuga, Krishna promised his foster mom Yashoda, who was sad that she could not attend his wedding with Rukmani or Satyabhama, that she would be able to witness his wedding in Kali Yuga. So Yashoda was born as Vakula Devi and she adopted Srinivasa and they lived in the Venkatadri ranges. One day, when Padmavati and her friends were out picking flowers in a garden, they see a wild elephant running amok and this frightened them. The elephant, on seeing Lord Srinivasa, who was around as well, turned around, calmed down and saluted him and moved back into the forest from where he had come. Both Srinivasa and Padmavati longed for each other after this first encounter. The parents then agreed to have them married despite some initial resistance from Akasha Raja that Srinivasa was perceived to be a commoner. Shuka, the parrot sage, set a date for the wedding and Kubera, the lord of wealth, lent money for Srinivasa to conduct the wedding in a lavish way, a debt that we continue to repay to this day on behalf of Lord Venkateshwara. Let's take a listen to the Mangala Shashanam recitation.
श्रियः कान्तारकल्याणनिधरे निधरेऽर्थिनाम् श्रीवेङ्कटनिवासाय श्रीनिवासाय मङ्गलम् मङ्गलाशासनपरैर्मदाचार्यपुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यै सत्कृतायास्तु मङ्गलम्.
Let's move on to the next theme, Andal Tirukalyanam, the union of goddess Andal, the great saint and the mystic poetess in Rangavannar. Kodai as a baby was found beneath the Tulasi plant by Vishnu Chittar, or Periyalvar as he is popularly known, in Srivilliputturu. Kodai grows up to be an ardent Krishna and a Ranganatha Perumal devotee. She perhaps is the foremost amongst all the female poetesses and the only female Alvar who composed the masterpieces of Tirupavai and Nachiyar Tirumuri that are sung with fervor to this day, especially during the Margari Masam. Anantalvar's Chaturshloka and Goda Stuti by Vedanta Desikar all celebrate the life of Andal. Vishnu Chittar was an ardent devotee of the Perumal and he offered garlands or malais to the Perumal every day. Kodai, imagining her to be the consort of Perumal, wore the malai every day before the malai was offered by Vishnu Chittar to the Perumal. One day, upon seeing a hair stuck to the malai and realizing that the garland was being pre-worn, Periyalvar remonstrates Kodai for doing so and takes back a fresh garland not previously adorned by Kodai for the Perumal. Perumal proclaims through the Archaka's divine voice that he refuses to wear the garland not worn by Kodai. From then on, Kodai becomes Andal, the term in Tamil for the girl who ruled over the Lord. She is also referred to as Chudi Kudutta Sudarkudi, lady who gave the garland to Vishnu. Let's take a listen to Male Matrinal.
மாலை சாற்றினாள் கோதை மாலை மாற்றினாள் மாலை சாற்றினாள் கோதை மாலை மாற்றினாள் மாலடைந்து மதிலரங்கன் மாலை அவர் தன் மார்பிலே மாலடைந்து மதிலரங்கன் மாலை அவர் தன் மார்பிலே மையலாய் தையலாய் மாமலர் கரத்தினாள் மையலாய் தையலாய் மாமலர் கரத்தினாள் மாலை சாற்றினாள் கோதை மாலை மாற்றினாள் பூமாலை சாற்றினாள் கோதை மாலை மாற்றினாள் மாலடைந்து மதிலரங்கன் மாலை அவர் தன் மார்பிலே.
lets her father know that she would only marry Lord Ranganatha and no one else. She lets him know about her dream in which the Lord came in an elephant to wed her. Let's take a listen to an excerpt from the Andal Pasuram, Varanamayiram.
வாரணமாயிரம் சூழவலம் செய்து நாரணன் நம்பி நடக்கின்றான் என் எதிர் பூரண பொற்குடம் வைத்து புறம் எங்கும்.
Perumal then appears at Vishnu Chittar's doorstep and asks for Andal's hand. What Andal had dreamt about was now a reality, and she prepares to wed the Perumal. Perumal asks that Andal as a bride be sent to Ranganatha temple. As Andal enters the Garbhagriha, she turns into a flash of divine light and merges with Rangamannar. Andal Kalyanam signifies that if one believes and has faith, the divine is and will be always with you. The Kalyana Utsavam continues to be performed even today for the protection and the prosperity of the world. Moving on, this last scene from the theme depicts one aspect from our own traditional wedding, the Mangalya Dharanam. Our traditional wedding is consecrated in accordance to the Vedas and the Puranas. It is a celebration of the celestial amidst the human. The Kalyanam not only binds the bride and the groom, but it also binds their families. Weddings are said to have a purifying effect on the body and the soul. The colorful ceremonies are ensconced in the sacred and give a sense of the union of the material and the spiritual. With that, we conclude the Golu theme of Thirukalyanathil Thiruvilayadal. Hope you enjoyed watching our Padi Golu and our Golu theme for the year. This is our humble contribution in not only upholding traditional values and preserving our culture, but also a way for paying it forward to our future generations, just as we had received this from our previous one. So until next time, Shubham Bhuyat and Loka Kalyanamastu.
Mangalyam tantu narena mama jevana hetuna kanthe bhadrami subhage tvam jeva jagadam shatam